Hi. Hi, good morning everyone. So this video is about stop fighting your spirit. Okay? Now what that means is a lot of people don't realize that when you fight your spirit, it's like um I'm sorry, I'm a little 1 second. Let me just set something up real quick. Fighting your spirit is going against your internal compass. So, hi, good morning. So I'm just gonna try to get into this. So we are battling daily between what we want, what we think we should want, and what people say you should want, and also facing and not facing our own reality. When I say that, I mean a lot of people they're hiding from themselves. So that's the main thing. They're hiding from themselves, and they're trying to take on another life that someone is trying to tell them that they should have. You can't strive for somebody else's dream. You have to strive for your own dream. You have to have a vision for your own life, and whatever that vision is, you have to try to believe in that and reach for it every single day. So you should work on that daily to get the lifestyle that you really want. This has nothing to do with having a rich lifestyle or a luxurious lifestyle. I hear a lot of women talking about, yeah, you should just strive to have a rich, to be with a rich person or to live a luxurious life. And I'm not saying we all want the finer things in life, but that doesn't mean that you can't maybe meet someone or do certain things in your own life to enhance yourself. Someone else's vision of their life doesn't have to be the vision that you have for your own. Okay, so the outside body does not reflect the internal body. Outside, you may look young and vibrant, but inside, you've aged 10 years, if not more. People can kill you by sucking out your energy, draining your life force. The pressure will begin to build and build until it transforms into a huge ball of pressure within your chest cavity. I'm sure a lot of people have felt that feeling when they're doing something that they know is against their spirit. They feel tension building up in their chest cavity, and that stress can turn into illness. A lot of people don't realize that restriction can or the restriction or trying to force yourself into something that doesn't seem natural to you can kill you. Oh, you're still here? Wait a minute. You're not showing up on my screen. It shows that no one is here. Oh, okay. um the spirit screams within to be released from the burdens we put it under. The stifled screams evolve into heart disease, cancer, mental imbalance, and a choked root chakra. So your root chakra is where your reproductive organs are. A lot of women, they may not tell you that when they go through a lot of stress, a lot of times, like when they go through heavy stress, sometimes they feel cramping in their uterus area. So everything is affected, from your uterus to your digestion to your heart and to your mental. So your entire chakras are affected, and that's very important. That's your internal body. So you can go to the doctor or you can go to a herbalist and get certain things that can help you physically and mentally, in terms of chemistry and biology. But when it comes to chakra healing, you have to do so much more to heal your body. In terms of, you have to meditate. You do mantras. Like, I really not do them, but I listen to mantras often and sleep to them, and it helps with meditation. And I think that that's something that a lot of people should take in, not just meditation but mantra. I don't know if you ever heard of this thing called that is the sound of the Lord's voice, so to speak. That's what they say when you do the sound, that very meditative sound. In mantras, they have all of that in there, and that heals your spirit. I've actually done that a few times, and a lot of the tension that I felt within, I could feel everything starting to align within. It's very you could feel that within your spiritual body. Also, pranayama, where you do like deep breathing. Deep breathing allows you to bring oxygen to all cells and to release tension, the tension that's built within. You have to do a lot of deep breathing. Don't let anyone make you feel bad. I know sometimes I'll walk around. I don't care. I'm not, if I'm at the supermarket or out on the street, and if I feel that urge to just go, then I'll do that. It's no one's business. I don't even care if anyone is looking, because that's my own health. That's my health that I'm thinking of. And anyone out here, they're not responsible for that. So I have to, I have to do those things in order to balance myself. So I encourage everyone to do mantras. And there are a lot of mantras here on YouTube. Um, they actually have channels on here that have mantra meditation music and sounds that you can sit to and listen to. I know a lot of people may have difficulties with meditating. They find it hard to meditate, but through meditate, if you combine meditation and mantra together, and then at the end of all of that, do some deep breathing exercises, that will really help to alleviate a lot of stress and a lot of inner turmoil. Your mind is also foggy and disoriented because of the spiritual damage. I know there are a lot of people out here who walk around trying to hold it all together, but in their mind they feel this fogginess and lack of concentration. And it could be the chemtrails. Who knows? That may have something to do with it, but definitely it has to do with confusion. Spiritual confusion can lead to to mental fog and disorientation. Oh yeah, well, not them, but my dad. When I was a child, I would a lot of times I would just lay on my father's stomach, like in the corner. He always used to sleep on like relaxed on the couch and watch sports and things like that. And before I would go to bed, I would try to sneak and, lay on his chest, and I would put my head on his chest, and the rhythm of his chest and his heartbeat would help me to go to sleep. I know a lot of people don't have those experiences with their fathers. I know some do, but I guess now in these times, it's a very special thing. Unfortunately, I know you did a video on black families and the mother and father. It's so important when you have a father there. I mean, I don't want to get emotional, but give me a minute. Sorry. I love my father. That's it. So, okay, let's not get. um, yeah. So there were times that I would put my head on his chest, and no, I'm not gonna get emotional. Um, but yeah, I used to do that so often, very, very often. Actually, my father took care of me for 2 years. There was a point where he didn't work for a little while. And there was an arrangement. I think my mother and my father were working, and at the time, the job my mother had was paying a little bit more than what he was making at that time. And he said, you know what, let me just take these 2 years to be with me when I was a child, and then from there, like I have a good generally I have a good relationship with my father, but the breathing of his the up and down of his chest and hearing his heartbeat would always help me go to sleep. And I would always try to sneak and stay right there to sleep, and he would be like, no, no, you got to go to bed, come on. And he would just, like, if he could carry me, he would carry me to the bed. If not, then it would be like that little sleepy walk, that children do, where they kind of like hold you up halfway and hold you up halfway and then take you to the room. So yeah, I get what you're saying when you say that. Um, so continue on, because I had to take some notes just to make sure that I can get all my thoughts together. So blood may stop flowing and never be able to reach your heart and mind, causing spiritual imbalance. So when I was saying the choked feeling at your root chakra, sometimes like you'll have this energy flow and there'll be a blockage there. So if there's a blockage, there's going to be a spiritual imbalance. So through stress, like men don't understand, like a woman's sexual energy is her life force to vibrancy. The more she's happy with you, like the way you like you treat her. I'm just using this in terms of relationships. Really? It's really sad. It's really sad that that's how it is these days. But men can change that. I was reading the Bible last night. I actually have the Bible here. I'm just gonna verify. I was gonna mention this towards the end because I think that everyone should have this Bible. Um, it's the Dead Sea Scrolls Bible, which is the oldest known Bible translated from the first time into English. So this is a English translation of the very first Bible and other scriptures that they don't have in the original Bible. I do not recommend what's his name, King James version. Everybody knows that that was written by Shakespeare, and so you could actually see, they if you go online, they'll show you that like there's a page, because you know when an artist does their work, they have some kind of hidden signature, especially in their writing. If they're a ghostwriter, they sneak their initials into the book so that people know that they wrote it, even though it's not in obvious words. It didn't say Shakespeare, but Shakespeare had major involvement in the King James version of the Bible. So this is the one I was reading, and I realized, let me see if I could find it real quick. I mean, I hope I can. I mean, this is just my interpretation, because you have to understand, priests. I do respect priests and ministers and what they do, but they're human. They're people just like us, and they're gonna fall short. And I think a lot of people try to put them on a much higher level, but they came into the world just like, just like you and me. And if I decided one day that I want to be a nun, does that mean that everything I did up until now didn't have an impact on my life? No. I mean, it does have an impact on your life. Sorry, I thought my camera slowed down a little bit, because sometimes with YouTube it gets a little bit funny. Like when you start talking about certain things, sometimes they start cutting words out. I notice like with my videos, like I'll talk and there'll be certain words that's very important that I want the public to hear and know. And then when I watch the videos, I'll see like that word or that section, like it scatters, like they do like a scatter on the screen. I don't know. I know it's not my computer. I know it's not my camera, because my camera is just fine, but maybe there was a little lag in the beginning. But now, like, I think sometimes they go into people's videos and they mess with the video. So I just want to let you guys know that, just in case you should, review your videos, look at your videos again to see what's going on, because if I could edit some of those things, I would, and I'm going to try to see if I can edit it. But yeah. um all of that is propaganda, because you know what I noticed, when I first of all, people, I don't know what it is, but I have really good days sometimes. Like yesterday I went out and everybody was like so nice to me. Guys were holding doors and everything. And I was like, thank you so much. And I'm like, these are not black men. These, like, I think one guy was white and the other man was Spanish, but they held the door for me when I had my bags. And then when I went to the post office, even though I waited online for a while to like, put my package out, um the guy was a black guy behind the counter, but he was very personable, very friendly. So don't believe the hype. This propaganda out here, they're gonna switch your mind around into thinking they're gonna switch their the propaganda is going to switch your mind around into thinking that people are hateful out here. But you know what? There are good and bad people in every group, and you have to give other people a chance, because at the end of the day, they may be kind to you specifically, and then the other person, they're not too kind to, and you don't know why. Maybe they did something. So maybe they did something, maybe they didn't do anything. But this world is a mix of both good and bad. What was I going to say? Let me see if I could find it here. It's a little bit choppy. I don't know why they wrote it this way. I think it's very direct from the scroll, but it sounds a little like something is missing. But I just continued to read on. Okay, so it says here, this is in Genesis chapter 3, where it says, now, wait, no, that's not what I want to show you. Wait. Okay, I'm going to read it a little bit. So it says, and the Lord God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to cultivate it and to keep it. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree and of the garden you may eat freely, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat from it. For in the day that you eat from it, you shall surely die. Let's talk about that. Surely die, right? You have to understand, when they say ignorance is bliss, you don't know that he didn't know that being naked, quote unquote, was a sin. And being naked really isn't a sin, but it's the perception. So when you look at yourself and you're like, oh, you feel these guilty feelings, before all of that existed, those guilty feelings, despair, inadequacies, all those negative feelings did not exist before he ate from the tree of knowledge. Once he ate from the tree, he had a knowledge, or I would say knowledge loosely, because it's not really knowledge, it's more of an awareness. Now you're aware of things, you're self-conscious, of what's happening with you now, because before everyone would have been naked and everyone would have just loved each other and seen each other in a godly light. But because of sin entering your mind, now all those things have, like, how certain words have a positive meaning and then they have a negative word that goes for that positive meaning. It's kind of like the same thing. I hope you guys get what I'm saying by that. But how when in the media, when they talk about black people, they use the negative version of words, and then when they talk about people of other races, mainly Caucasians, they use the positive counterpart for the word. It's that same kind of effect when it comes to eating from the tree of knowledge. That's my interpretation. But what I really want, I can't even find it now, where he says, I hope it's coming up next. And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. All right. Remember that. Okay. It is not good for the man to be alone. That means God is saying that you need to have a partner in your life. And so if you think you can come out in this world and be alone and be okay, you're not. As time goes on, you'll realize that you do need someone. And men need women, women need men. I've said that before. We need each other because we need that companionship, that love, and that care from one another. It's not about a sexual thing. We just want someone to care about us as human beings. Okay, so here it is. I think this is it. And out of the ground, the Lord God formed every beast. Here we go. And out of the ground, the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every bird of the sky, and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. Okay, that's very powerful right there. Because the first person he made was a man, and the man had the power to go and name all things in the earth. That, you know what that means? That means that man is the ruler of the world. That means that man can change everything. When I say man, I'm not talking, I mean man opposed to woman, right? Everything that's going on in this world, if men were more virtuous, like they really took a chance took that opportunity and said to themselves, look, I want to be a more virtuous person, a more have more morality, is more family oriented, and really try to change the world for the better, it would impact everything in this world. Women are not here to do that. Women are here to support men, which I'll get to that next line, right? Where it says here, okay, and out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every bird of the sky, and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. And whatever the man called a living creature, that was its name. Now the serpent was more crafty than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said to the woman, has God really said, you shall not eat of any tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, from the fruit of the trees of the garden we may eat. So she knows that she can eat from any of the trees except for that one, but she was persuaded by the serpent and deceived by the serpent. And then she went and she told Adam, not it didn't even did he say Adam? It didn't even say Adam. It said the first man. It didn't even say any name. In this book, it did not clarify that the first man was named Adam. It just says the first man. Okay. So what I was going to say with that, even though the serpent deceived the first woman, the woman has the power to influence man. So that means that whatever man makes the decision, a man makes decisions, but he needs a good woman on his side to influence him in a positive way. If you don't have a woman speaking good things around you, positive things around you, things that can put you in a leadership position, you will not thrive. That's why a man needs a woman. Men are the force. Men are the power behind it, and the women are the voice. They're supposed to be your muse. They're supposed to be your muse in life, to give you the strength to carry on. If you have a woman who is like the snake to deceive you and to talk into your ear with things that are wrong, what do you think? She's going to lead you astray, and she's going to lead you into confusion. And then so my whole thing is, everything that's happening in the world is an effect of two things: men making poor decisions and women talking into men poor decisions. So you have to really think about that. Any woman you bring into your life has to be a positive force, because women raise men and they raise women, raise men and they raise women. So if you don't have a woman on your side that's supporting you, and you're not, and what you're doing is not something that's going to uplift her, yourself, and the family, because a family is like a small government. That's the first government, is family, right? And then everyone, or we have a whole bunch of families living in this huge government. So if you don't govern your home, you're going to be in trouble. And guess what? A woman with children and no man is like an open country that anybody can come and seize your land. Like, that's what it's like. It's like, you think a woman is going to be able to protect children completely? No, they can't. They need a man there. There's a difference. I can tell you, like, if you have a man in the house, if you have people coming to fix things in your home or try to say, oh, you shouldn't do things, if there's a man there, believe me, nobody's going to try it. They're not going to try, because they're going to be like, oh, there's a man here, so now I have to speak to this man, and whatever he says goes. But when it's just a woman and children, everybody's gonna run all over you, and they don't respect it. They don't respect the household with no man. I'm To be honest, like, and women need to wake up to that. You can try to act as strong as you want, but at the end of the day, you need a man in the household. Thank you for the compliment about looking so beautiful, but usually I don't look like this on a regular day. Actually, especially when I'm doing errands, sometimes in this weather, I have my hat on, so they're not seeing my hair. They're not seeing. I'll do my makeup, but it'll be a little more subtle, most of the time. So I don't, but thank you though. I appreciate it. Maybe that was the reason I did look kind of cute yesterday. I did have my winter white coat. I was looking so wintry and cute. I'm not gonna lie. Um, yeah. I mean, you can't give into temptation. This, just because, listen, if you can have all the other fruits, why do you care about the one tree of the fruits that you cannot taste? It's not that big of a deal. It's kind of like, if I have a boyfriend, right? A lot of people do this, where you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, whatever, and they try to replace that woman with what they think is a better thing. When they get that better thing, all of a sudden they realize everything that was good going on in their life starts to crumble, because they thought it was better because it looked better, it enticed them. Oh my gosh, I want that. And then they realize this person is a demonic force in their life. That's what happens when temptation sets in. So yeah, I think that was the part I really wanted to highlight in terms of that, because I thought about that more. I had to really read this slowly and really meditate on it. That's another thing. When you're reading these kinds of books, you can't read it like a regular book. You have to, I mean, my goal really is to read like 1 or 2 pages a night and really, really read it and meditate on it. And I suggest you guys do the same thing, because you have to, there's meaning to life. This is your guide to life. And if you don't read this, you're going to be lost. And I can tell you, there's a lot of material in here that if you take your time and read it, you can see the message that God has for you. The truth is that you can go to church all day, every day, but these words have to speak to you specifically. You have to be able to read these words and see for yourself, because if, for example, Water Sniper here decides to read that same passage, he may get something else from it that I didn't get from it. And we would have to collaborate our thoughts to see, okay, what is that true? Is that true? He may have a different insight, or anyone on here may have, anyone who reads this material may have a different insight. So, like I said before, you can nourish the body with food, and you can nourish the mind with knowledge. What do you nourish the spirit with? Truth. Your truth. A truth that no one can approve or deny. It's an internal dialogue that requires silence and or meditation to hear it. How can you help your spirit heal? With conversations with God, talk to him like he's your best friend. He's your father, he's your friend. He knows you more than you know yourself. He knows the good in your heart, and the things that you have trouble with, that you're fighting off in your, I don't want to say the bad things, because those bad things are things that people try to fight off every single day. They don't want to face it, and also they don't want to fight it, and then they don't know how to overcome it. But if you talk to God about it, and you sincerely want to make those changes, I believe that he's going to be there for you. And everyone sees the signs. Believe me, he gives people so many signs, and you see the signs, but you ignore it because you think, oh, I have so much time to rectify this mistake, and I have all this time and all this time, and well, maybe nothing bad is really happening to you. But guess what? The more that you're doing something against your spirit, that's almost like a slow death. Pretty much just a slow death. Reduce Okay, what else can you do? How can you help your spirit heal? Okay, so with conversations with God, having alone time, meaning quiet time. I see a lot of people, when people are escaping life, when they always need noise. They always have to have the TV on. They always have to have the radio on. They always have to have people come over. If they don't have people coming over, they're always going out somewhere, and they're always on the go, 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 go. If you're always on the go, you're running. Those people, you think, oh yeah, they're so fun, they have so much energy. Yeah, they're fun. Yeah, they have a lot of energy, but they're running away from their situation. It's not like they're just embracing life. A lot of these people are trying to escape something. And so they're always running and running and running and running and busy, busy, busy all the time. That's a form of an escape also. Reduce overstimulating reduce overstimulating with frivolous, meaningless outside forces. Listen, I'm not going to knock YouTube. I'm not going to knock Instagram or any of these social media platforms, but they are a heavy distraction in your life. This is supposed to be a part of your life, not your entire life. And some people make it their entire life, and to the point where how do you separate the real reality from virtual reality? I mean, it's not the same. The only way you can make it real is if you decide to make something in your virtual reality life come into your reality, to the point where it can now become real. But you can't have a virtual life and have a real life, because all that's going to do is separate yourself. You're separating yourself in half. You're two different people, and now you've become like Two-Face. Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite characters anyway. From Batman. I like all the villains in Batman. So yeah, you become Two-Faced. And I didn't even think of that before. And I was like, yeah, that is kind of true. Yeah, so you become two different people. And even wearing hair pieces, you become a different character. So what person is the real you? Listen to mantras, as I said, as a transition to meditation. This will calm a racing mind, a worrying mind, and feelings of despair. Deep breathing several times is good because oxygen is life. So oxygen and water, both of those two things are life. So anything you can do to enhance those areas, I would say to do that. So that's pretty much the end of my video. Please, I'm saying to probably get this book for starters, But you can get other books. Don't be afraid to look at other spiritual readings that support your truth, because the thing about it is that your truth is the only truth you're going to know for now. You can't say, oh, if you take in too many philosophies, you're going to become confused. So try to stick with the philosophy that mirrors what you think to be true, and focus on that. And if it's not completely true, God will intervene and guide you in that direction to truth. So you have to trust that everything comes in stages. So go with the path that you know of now, and then if something happens along the line where something seems a little confusing or it doesn't seem right, your spirit will talk to you, and you have to trust in that intuition and that talk, your internal voice, because that internal voice um is important. Let me just read just one more little line that really spoke to me. I know a lot of people know this. Just give me a second just to find it. And I want you guys to remember this, because this is the one of the most important lines for people to know. And God on okay, so it says here, which today is the Sabbath, by the way. A lot of people don't believe that Saturday is the Sabbath, but it is the Sabbath. When you talk about days in the Bible start from night to morning instead of morning to night. So that's another thing that a lot of people should know. Um, so, and the heavens and the earth were finished, and all their hosts. And on the seventh day, God finished his work which he had made. And he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it rested from all his work which God had created and made. Now, this is the next line I wanted to talk to you guys about here. But a mist, but a mist used to rise up from the earth and water the whole face of the ground, blah, blah. Okay. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground. Okay. And breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. So, what do you think the breath of life is? That's God. Okay. So, you have to think about that every time you say no to that spirit. And I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I'm not trying to say like I'm not guilty of this. We all are guilty of this, and we all struggle from this. But what it is that every time in your heart, in your spirit, it's telling you not to do something, and you hear that screaming voice like, I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this. I really know I should not do this. Right? You know what that is? That's that God breath, that spirit in you telling you no, not to do something, or yes to do something. And you have to, and God does not live in fear. Everything fear does not exist in the eyes of God. You have to push that feeling away. That is part of the tree of knowledge. The tree of knowledge is what gives you that feeling of fear, the feeling of despair, the feeling of inadequacies, the feeling of oh, I feel like I can't do this, or I'm not good enough. That feeling has to go. You have to fight it. Every single day you should say, I know that I came from the earth because I'm a natural being, right? Number one, I'm a natural being because I came from this earth, but I am living due to the breath of life of God. And if I'm breathing in life, which is God, that means that I should be able to do anything, and no one is gonna tell me no. If I walk through the door with the thoughts I'm gonna get this or not get that, then it is what it is. And if I wasn't meant to have that, I would rest in that, knowing that God is telling me that it's not that may not be meant for me. So all you do is just go for it. Everything in life, just go for it. There's one line my sister told me that I live by, which is just go for what you want. Go for what you want. And what's the worst that can happen? All they're going to say is no. That's it. Go for it. If you want it, just go for it. And guess the worst thing you can hear is no. And then when you hear no, you just move on. And if you really want it bad enough, if it's still in your spirit to have whatever it is or to do whatever it is, then maybe it's not meant to be with that person or in that environment, but it may be conducive for you in another person or another environment. So yeah. And then also a line my father said, this is another line I live by, is when in doubt, don't do it. So as soon as I feel a doubt about something, I'm not doing it. And I could be very fine with that. I already know, like, those two lines are two. I have other lines, but those two lines, I live by those. I live by that. If in doubt, don't do it. If you want something, go for it. The worst you can get is a no. And if you hear about that, what's so bad if somebody says no? You'll live. You'll be fine. So that's the end of my video. I hope that you got something useful from this, and please like, share, and subscribe. Please select the bell so you can get more notifications on when I post a new video or do another live. Okay, thank you. Have a good day. Bye.